Thank you. It's an honor to be here in Chile for the third time. And it's very nice for me to have a possibility to get away from minus 10 degrees. And you saw the picture earlier that we have a lot of snow already in Norway. I'm going to talk a little bit about consumer preferences on the Norwegian market. So you maybe have possibility to understand a little bit more of what our likings are. First, we have to speak a little bit about Norway. It's a very tiny country. It's only 4.7 million inhabitants, and that includes also all the foreigners that is allowed to work in Norway. We have quite a substantial amount of people working in Norway, around 300,000 people. That is not Norwegian. We are also a very long country, 2,500 kilometers, long and slim like Chile, but not that long. The distance from Oslo to the far north of Norway is the same distance as from Oslo down to Rome. We are not a member of EU, like most of the countries in Europe, and we're going to talk a little bit about the consequences of that, especially towards Sweden, our neighborhood with Sweden. But we are a very steady consumer economy. We don't suffer from the financial problems that most countries in Europe see, and that is mainly due to that we have a quite strong economy from the oil business in the North Sea. Norway is a very young wine-consuming country. We used to be beer and spirit drinkers, heavy spirit drinkers. But the wine consumption has increased fairly much, especially the last 15 years. And as you see from the number, I hardly can see anything on this screen. Whoops. It has increased around 50% the last 10 years. We have a state-controlled retail monopoly. Everything above 4.76% alcohol, that means beer, spirit, and wine, is sold through the monopoly retail. And we used to have, up till 1994, we used to have a state monopoly also for every import and every production of wine and spirits. But it was a negotiation, since Norway was not a member of EU, it was a negotiation with EU, and Norway was allowed to maintain the monopoly situation for retail, but had to open up private import. So there is about 252 private importing companies today in Norway, small and large. Vinmonopolet is the only retailer. We have to talk a little bit about the Vinmonopolet. It's the name of the retail. We have 267 outlets, and they are divided into 6 categories depending on the amount of products that they are carrying. The smallest one is from 220 products, and when I talk about products, it's beer, wine, and spirit again. And the largest ones is up to 1,250 products. Each shopkeeper, you know, the one that is running the retail outlet, is allowed to choose up to 10% extra products after the local likings. But that can be, again, beer, wine, and spirits. So a small outlet with 220 products can choose around 20 products extra. There is no legal marketing of alcohol in Norway towards end consumers. There is no legal in-store promotion possibilities. And the staff that works in the outlets, the state monopoly outlets, are not allowed to recommend any products. They are only allowed to advise if the consumers or customers are asking for advice. Norwegians are not particular innovators. We are looked upon as a very calm natural type of group. We do absolutely not have a temper like wild, angry, wet cats. We are not screaming out. We're very quiet, but we're very loyal consumers. We prefer certain brands, and we prefer certain price categories. When we talk about brands, brands can be big international brands, or they can be tailored, made for the Norwegian market. Scandinavia, and I've been trying to use the whole week to teach the other ones in the panel about Scandinavia, because Scandinavia means the three kingdoms of Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. Finland is not a part of Scandinavia. Finland is a part of the Nordic countries together with Iceland and the Faroe Islands. It's a little bit internal jokes here, but you know, that was a little bit late in the evening when I told stories about the Finnish. I won't do it now, maybe later on tonight. Well, anyway, Scandinavia, especially Norway and Sweden, we have a little bit particular taste for packaging of wine. We like bag-in-box, as Bengt already has mentioned. And bag-in-box is not meaning low-entry wines for us. We have a lot of premiums coming into bag-in-box. This is a typical entry premium level, if I can call it that. It's around 149 kroner on the Norwegian market, similar to $25. It's a Wiener Maipo Grande Version. It's a very nice wine, but it's not selling. This is selling. This is the best-selling white premium. It's a 3-liter bag-in-box filled with Chablis. Chablis has done a very good job in Norway. We are actually the biggest consumers in the world of Chablis per capita. Actually mainly linked to that Chablis understood the liking for the packaging of bag-in-box. You see it costs around $80, so it's not cheap. This is the best-selling premium on the market, regardless of packaging. So, meaning this is number 1, it's number 90 on the list of bestsellers. So the 89 wines selling with a higher volume before this bag-in-box is entry or mid-range wines. It sells for around $84. It is a Ripasso Valpolicella, slightly with residual sugar. Norwegian like that. This is the first premium bottled wine. It's number 223. So you see, this is the first premium appearing on the top-selling list, a bag-in-box, 3 liters. This is the first bottled premium turning up on the best-selling list, number 223. A little bit about leading wine countries, because it can be interesting to see who's the competitors. We drink red wine. 69% of the volume is red wine, about 25% is white wine. And Chile is number 5. Chile's been quite steady, number 5 for quite a while. The last numbers I saw was 8.8 of the total wine sales volume. When we talk about sales in Norway, we only talk about volume because that's a measurement from the monopoly. Italy is heavily dominating. Norwegians love Italian wines, 30%. Second for reds are France with 17%. And the 4 largest selling countries, together with Spain and Australia, accounts for 72.5%. 60% of the white wine, bag-in-box and bottle, is from Germany and France. The trend is that bottled wine is still slightly decreasing, and bag-in-box packaging is still slightly increasing. Now for still reds, 59.5% of all wines sold out of total is 59.5%. And you see also, I've put it in brackets, Sweden, because Norway and Sweden is always looking at each other. Sweden is slightly behind with 57.7% red wines in bag-in-box. Whites, 53.6% of the total white wine sale is in bag-in-box, and Sweden have already passed us. So Sweden consume 57.9% of the total from bag-in-box. There is another very particular thing on the Norwegian market, and that is linked to the system that we are not a member of EU. We have a big cross-border shopping, especially from Sweden. And the cross-border shopping is increasing, and actually Sweden got a new gift package from the Norwegian government this January, because the alcohol tax is still going to increase in Norway while Sweden has let it be stabilized. The government says that about 30% of the wines bought, registered, comes from Sweden, but is consumed in Norway. Probably the true number is higher. This is due to that the Swedish krona, that is the currency, is about 15% lower than the Norwegian krona, and in the combination with much lower alcohol tax, wine in Sweden, in the Swedish monopoly shop, is about 50% cheaper, the exact same brand, the exact same bag and box that we normally shop, 50% cheaper than in Norway.